Is the sacking of Steve Bould irrelevant? Football fans, welcome to the June 28th edition of the Uncensored Arsenal podcast. I'm your host Shotta, together with Blackburn George and Ehab, from the audio version of last Saturday's live stream on YouTube and Twitter. Our topic then was, bye-bye Bouldy. Arsenal don't need any old stinking group. Stay tuned for more.
Football fans, fellow Gooners, welcome to the June 26th edition of this Uncensored Arsenal live stream. And I have Blackburn George and Ehab with me. And George is telling me this is a bad time because you're all watching Italy play whom, George?
Austria.
Austria. Oh, well, the only guy in Austria is the guy who plays for Munich.
They have a decent team.
Because we played them in the Europa League, and that team we played was pathetic. They're a bunch of farmers. But guys, today, so good to see you. I want to thank you. I don't see a soul. Well, I have 4 people live. Well, but guys, you are doing well. You know, we started off small. And I want to tell you, George and Ehab, though we started small, you know, the amount of subscribers are growing, so we're still small, but a little bit more than small. And I have 6 people live. I want to see their names, and I want to big them up in a few. But today we are going to be discussing the sacking of Steve Bould, who's been with the club for 33 years. He won the knockout competition for the under 18s in 2009, I think, in 2008. He was with the club as a player. He was with George Graham's team. They did the double. He was also in his did a year with Wenger. He was the assistant coach to Wenger after Pat Rice left. He was the only member of staff who was any connection with the past, to George Graham and beyond. And interestingly enough, I did a poll, and 64% of fans think that his firing is minor or irrelevant. Blackburn George, I decided that this was a very important subject to discuss. Am I completely off my rocker? Did I completely miss the significance of this event? You first, my friend.
Well, I don't know. So I'm going to wait till I hear what you two have to say, because I don't know any facts. All I know is he's left. Now, why he's left exactly is open to speculation. So we can frame this any way we want, depending on.
Are you sure? Yeah, I left it open for you.
I mean, what I'm saying is, was he sacked? Was he pushed out? Did he want to go? We don't know. On the face of it, if you want to assume the worst, you assume that they want to get rid of any link to Arsene Wenger and they want to have a complete new regime in. But on the other hand, maybe he's just had enough. Maybe he's seen what's going on at the club and wants to do like Grant Xhaka wants to do and fuck off. Maybe he's had enough. You know, if maybe he thinks Mikel Arteta's full of shit.
We don't know.
And he wants to go. We don't know. Or maybe Arteta thinks he's rubbish and wants him out. We don't know. And because we don't know, it's very difficult to have an opinion on the significance of it. So I'm struggling with this one, really, because I don't have enough information. And much as I love to come to uninformed conclusions...
Yes. I sure know you. I saw that a lot of people in the stream. Oh, the one person left right now. I agree with you.
There you go. One left out. Maybe should have gone to Ehab first.
Yes. Well, George, of course, you all know that I rebroadcast this, and of course, some people subscribe, and they will. That's the whole point about the YouTube. They are a good few people go and watch it later. But keep going, George. So you don't have an opinion because you don't know the reason why he was fired.
No, I don't know the reason. You don't know. You can make up lots of scenarios. What if he doesn't? What if he's a bit like Mesut Ozil? Doesn't like the way that Arteta's taking us. Doesn't like the way we're playing. And like Granit Xhaka wants to leave. He's been with us for 30 years. He's entitled to. But if he's been pushed out, why has he been pushed out? Is it for his bad performance? Is it because of his links to Arsene Wenger? We just don't know any of these things. It's just another link to the past that's gone. Now, normally I would say that's a bad thing, but we've lost that many of the links to the past now. I don't think this in any way changes the direction of the club because we're already going in that direction. It's not like it's an indicator of what's to come. We're not going to go, he's going to start getting rid of everybody that has links to Wenger. We've already got rid of all the people that had links to Wenger.
Right, George. Right.
So it's not a new direction. Is it a lack of class? Should 30 years service entitle him to some position at the club? Maybe, but maybe he doesn't want it. We don't know. So I don't know. It's sad, but I'm agreeing with 60% of your poll. Really, I think it's minor inconvenience and irrelevance because the damage is already done, and if we're going to go with Arteta, which we appear to be doing, let him sweep the board. Let him get the blame for fucking everything.
Good point. But
I want to be able to point at him and say, you did this. I don't want him to be able to go, it weren't me. It was my backroom team. And no, they're all your backroom team. You brought them in. You fucked us up. You take the blame. I want to be able to give him the blame for everything. So I'm happy not to fucking have Steve Bould tarred by an Arteta brush.
Well, he's already tarred. But Ehab, what was your reaction? And I know you had a reaction. You and I spoke about this. I kind of tweeted each other about this.
Yeah.
What was your initial reaction? George makes a good point, though. I mean, the entire staffing legacy left by Wenger is gone. Lumberg is gone. The scouting setup is gone. And Bould, I don't know why he didn't take the money and run when Wenger was leaving because he was part of the staff, and he decided to hang on. Emery didn't make him his assistant. He was pushed back into the youth thing. But what was your reaction? I think George has this up to something. There's nothing of Arsene Wenger left. Your thought?
Yeah, the thing is, although I like Arsene Wenger so much, and I consider him the most important figure in the history of Arsenal, still, it is kind of, I don't like this. I don't like seeing this because this is not only about getting rid of the old guard, because all the good teams in the world have ex-players or ex-legends within the board, within the system. Look at Bayern Munich, for example.
Well, that came immediately to mind. Yes, immediately.
The whole grass of the club is made out of ex-players and ex-legends. Everybody.
Yes. Everybody at Munich. Yes.
Yeah. And you can see it at Real Madrid with Emilio Butragueño. And Real Madrid is run by a mafia boss, and he kept the legends. Look how I mean, if a freaking guy who launders money for the mafia, which is Florentino Perez's original job, has
Really?
has kept everybody in place. He kept Emilio Butragueño. He's kept Zidane, who's played for the
Yes,
club.
correct.
He kept all these people. So it's not a good thing. Leaving Steve Bould leaving is not a good thing. What people don't know, he's a big part of our history. And
I
I'm
know.
not I'm not only talking about the years he played. He ran the academy between 2001 to 2000 and when did Pat Rice leave? 2012.
Yes, Rice 712. Because remember the guy from Ireland, the left-footed guy. What's his name? The legend was in charge of the overall youth team, but he was the one who was doing the
Leon
day-to-day.
Brady.
Correct.
Brady.
Brady. Yes, correct.
Yeah. So Steve Bould was in charge of those teams for 11 years. The players that have played for him, has changed Arsenal's history. From Cesc Fabregas to Hector Bellerin to Serge Gnabry to Jack Wilshere to
Well,
Ayobi.
don't mention Gnabry here tonight.
Yeah, all those players have played under him,
Yes.
and they have been developed by him,
Yes.
and they have been recruited by him. He's scouting wise and talent spot, like the guy who, if he gets all the information from the scouts, Steve Bould is better than anybody we have at the club today, and nobody mentions that.
No, they
And he's
don't.
and the people, and the thing is, he's not. I'm amazed that people don't like him, and they like Tony Adams, for example, or Martin Keown, because he was such as a what they call a hard fella, like the rest of them. He's the guy who used to drink the most. He's the guy who used to party, and he's the guy who used to come and be a tough guy, and he is the guy who used to go for crazy tackles. He's that kind of guy. He's not the he's no nonsense kind of guy. And usually this bodes well with people who want passion and this kind of crap, you
Well,
know.
Ehab, that is what kind of surprised me, because George and I remember, ever since we left Highbury, there has been a section of the fan base who said, "Oh, we're losing history, we're losing a connection to the past," and yet the only person that remained in the backroom staff, George, is leaving. And I know
even
you saying,
even
"Okay, leave." You should have
Shota,
left and let Arteta take the full weight of this.
Shota,
But
even
all
I'm
right,
sorry,
Ehab,
but
keep going.
even this since Wenger has left, we've seen Vic Akers, Jens Lehmann, and now Ken Fryer is leaving. The guy
Yes.
who's been with Arsenal the longest
And
is
Miles
leaving.
and the
Eh,
secretary, what's his name? Miles or Myers, the company secretary. He came there since he left high school at 16.
Everybody's leaving, and this can't be good.
Jesus
In
Christ.
no way. I agree with George. The club is far gone, far too gone. But it's like dropping your phone on the ground and you break the screen and you think, okay, just as well, let me run over it with my car a couple of more times. This is not. I mean, nobody's gonna be happy with that. You might as well do it. But I mean, you cannot keep destroying it. I mean, at least, if somebody comes in and buys the club, whoever he is, a sheikh with a lot of money, a sheikh with a lot of money from Saudi Arabia, for example, and they buy Arsenal. Now there's no segue to get back into reality, to get back in touch with the past. You have to bring people with you and do everything all over again. There's no guy that says, "Oh, I know where that is. Let me show you." This was the way. Like Ken Fryer was that kind of guy who could reorganize everything, although he's too old to do that. There's Steve Bould, there was Jens Lehmann, there was Freddie Ljungberg, there was everybody. And the thing is, I always hate when things are taken personally, because this club is not owned by Michael Arteta's family, or it's not owned by Vinay's or Eda's family. This is owned. This is a 130-year club who owned by a rich family who invested in it, and you can't take shit personally. Everything we've done since Wenger left is personal. Mesut Ozil, Even the youth who spoke in support of Ozil are gone. Maitland-Niles, Mustafi, Kolasinac, anyone who said anything good about Ozil after Ozil just went rogue has been cast out, and now this is it. Everybody who's ever been in the presence of Arsene Wenger has to go, which is
George,
no
Ehab,
way
I'm
to
going
run
to stop you there. I'm going to stop you there and ask George. George, I alluded to this. Ehab makes a good point. You said, well, you don't know the reason why he left. Might as well. Probably the fans are right. But like I said, in 2006 and beyond, when we moved to the Emirates and Ashburton Grove, people were lamenting the loss of connection with the past, and now they're absolutely silent, George. And it takes an old fart from the Caribbean to be raising this, to be saying, "Hey, you're cutting off your links to the past." Isn't that important? I thought England was a place of tradition. Football was a place of tradition, of important traditions, at least.
The only tradition that matters now is spending money. That's the only tradition that they want. You can wrap it up anyway. Anyway, everything that's gone wrong at the club won't matter if Stan Kroenke spends £250 million in the transfer window. So they don't care about Steve Bould. It's lip service they pay to history and tradition. They're not interested in history and tradition. They're interested in buying a fucking £60 million player, a £50 million player. And Arsene Wenger, I used to think that Arsenal, mistakenly so, was full of class and tradition and was run the right way throughout the organisation. Everybody was pulling in the same direction, and it was a great club to support, even when we weren't winning things. That's what I used to think. But over these last few years, I've come to realise they weren't all pushing in the same direction. Mm-hmm. Arsene Wenger was pulling them all in that direction. Arsene Wenger was leading the club with his values. It wasn't Arsenal values. It wasn't Arsenal that did things the right way. It was Arsene Wenger that did things the right way. And now they don't do things the right way because Arsene's not there to pull them along. Nobody knows what the right things to do are. Nobody knows.
Wow. But we used to, Ehab just kind of slid off. People, while you're, he's coming back on, he's back. I see a few of you. Your magnificent number is now 4. But please post your comments and your questions so I can ask George, because that is the whole thing of doing this live, is to get interaction. George and I could do this, or even Ehab on Skype, and just post the audio, which we have done for months. So I'm trying to do something which is more interactive, and I'm trying to slowly build it with the help of George, Ehab, Omi, Biso, Vengarula, Siebes, all these people. We're trying to do something different, which is more interactive. So that's just a segue. But please post your comments and questions, and also subscribe to the channel so we can do this as well as anybody else. All those people who don't care about the values of the club. As George said, they only want 250 million spending. Ehab, the suggestion has been made that Bould is being fired because he came 10th in the PL2. And I did a little research, and I'm sure you saw that Bould provided 9 under 21 members to the first team last year, especially after the January window when he sent Ozil, Kolasinac, Amen, Willock, and all those. They were sent asunder. Anybody who had a word good to say about Mesut Ozil was sent and exiled from the club, literally to Siberia. And Bould's team sent 9 under 21s to the first team to play in the EFL, the Football League, that's they call it EFL now, to play in the Europa. They filled out the squad, and yet now they're saying that he failed. But Mikel Arteta took us down to 15 during that time. So how come he isn't out on the road? He isn't out in the street like
Yeah.
Bould? Come on, give me an answer to that. Isn't this arrant nonsense?
Sadly, if they've given Steve Bould the reins of the club after Wenger left and gave him 300 million to spend over 2 years, and waited as long they waited on Arteta, we would be much higher than 8. And that's the sad
Perhaps.
part. Yeah,
Well, he
and,
did make he had not to cut you there. He took our under 21s and under 18s were struggling, and he took them up. I remember vividly, Jorge Bird, and all those people who used to track everything that's going at Hill and talking about the improvements he made. George can attest to that. Keep going, my friend.
Yeah, actually, they did. He did do so, but the thing is, what people have to reconsider is, when it comes to the under 23s and under 18s, it's not about the money. It's not about the trophies. The
Correct.
job of these teams are to supply the main team with already developed talent that's PL ready, and this is the whole thing, and this is what he's done. He's taken players like we got relegated, and at the same time we took players like Joe Willock and Bakoye Saka, and Emmett Smith Rowe. We took them from the relegated team, and Reece Nelson and Maitland-Niles have come from the team that got relegated. That's not the point. The point is you have to develop. You play there to develop the players, to get them used to playing within the system, to get them used to what used to be called the Arsenal way, and we have those players have this in the blood. You can see them. You can see our youth talking, and I'd rather listen to Saka after the game than Aubameyang.
Oh, well, he ducks the
least,
mic when he has a loss.
Yeah, or whoever is, because he's a balanced individual. He's not very passionate and goes behind this crap and he doesn't get too angry. He doesn't get too sad when it's time to give an interview to the press. He's a balanced head fella. He's a fantastic kid. Same goes with Joe Willock, and same goes with AMN. We've seen Maitland-Niles, shoot penalties, for fuck's sake. This guy could walk up to a penalty at the Champions League final and just have a panenka or slot it in the corner. Those people are composed. These kids are composed, and this is what.
Did he do that in the
on the FA Cup semi-final?
FA Cup, right.
I think either semi-final or the Community Shield, one of them.
He just stepped up and banged it in.
Yeah, and it's against Alisson, Liverpool. He just puts it slowly, and he with a smile on his face, and the kid and these people gained that in the under 21s and under 23s and the under 18s. They had that value that we are the Arsenal, we are the biggest team in the world, we are the classiest team in the world, and this is how we will act as players. And you see, take.
You have me kind of breaking up there.
Is this okay?
Yes, right now.
Yeah, I'm saying take a look at Mbappe. Mbappe for the last 10 to 12 months has become a diva. He has become a guy that really doesn't he's always angry. The other day he had a saga with Giroud, and it's basically because he was not raised in a youth team with this kind of class. And I don't care how much you composed, 60,000 people chanting your name, and 10 million people on the internet following you and sending you love messages with commentators talking about you, is gonna screw with your head. But our youth players have stayed balanced, and this is what all like Fredrik Ljungberg, Steve Bould. These are the things that they even stated, and this is what we should be looking for, and that's why I don't like the sacking of him.
George, what did you do? You concur with me? If you're gonna blame Steve Bould for coming 10th in the PL2, then what about Arteta, who came 8th in the Premier League? Is there any comparison? Is it valid? Is that just what you know? Am I just running my mouth?
No, absolutely not. It's not valid.
Thank you for your validation. Go ahead.
It's as Ehab said, the only thing the youth team has to do is supply players for the first team. Even winning the youth cup, you know, I think Jack Wilshere's team won the youth cup years ago, and of all those players that won the youth cup, only he came through to play in the first team. So winning the youth cup was an irrelevance. Winning the first division of the under-21s, 23s, or whatever they call it, is completely irrelevant if none of them are coming through to play in the first team.
As a matter of fact, George, Chelsea wins the youth cup, the youth league all the time, and they sell off everybody. That one person makes the first 11. Keep going, my friend.
That's right. They've only got Billy Gilmore that's come through, and he was brought in. He wasn't brought up from being a child. So yeah, what Ehab said is factual, that you only have to bring the players through. The performance in the league or the youth cups is a complete irrelevance. In fact, it's a distraction. If you're concentrating on winning, you're not concentrating on learning. If the
Vengarula sent me a little piece here, making the same point that he's saying that, in effect, he's saying that at least Bould knew what he was doing, preparing players, because he says many coaches, and the headline of the article is many coaches don't have a clue and try to mask all of that with big words. And this guy, Lucasson, nobody knows him, but his job at Arsenal for about 5 or so years was to make coaches better. That was his job, to make coaches better. And I think that, to go back to you, Ehab, Bould at least was not essentially trying to win. He was trying to make the fellows better. And he provided, and this team has ESR. This team has Saka from his squad. Go ahead.
And what George has said is completely true. Like, Arteta's trying to win, and he has no idea how to pick a team. And he's messed up. He's devaluated everybody. Yeah. On the other hand, Bould has focused on producing good players. Yes. What Wenger said in one of the meetings is that I'm going to play a center back who's 20 years old. I might drop a couple of points, but I will get a world-class center back at 24, 25. People won't like that I'm dropping points. And this is what Steve Bould has the same idea, that, you know, he has the same idea that it's okay. I mean, he won the league twice, the Division 1 twice, between 2011 and 2001, 2001, 2011, and he won the FA Cup once in his reign as a coach in the academy. And he doesn't really care about this. He came, you know, what he cares about. I mean, nobody even knows about it. You could ask on Twitter, make a poll, how many trophies did Steve Bould win? And nobody will know. But the thing is, the thing is, he won those. He's a good manager. He's learned under Wenger.
And Graham, let's give Graham credit too.
I mean, actually, Steve Bould was the original CB pairing with Tony Adams, because we have sold Martin Keown to was it to Aston Villa?
I don't recall. George must know. He's older than me.
we sold Martin Keown to Aston Villa when he was a young guy. And we kept messing with it until we got him from Stoke.
Yeah.
And we had Lee Dixon from Stoke too.
Yes.
And we had Lee Dixon, Steve Bould, Tony Adams, and Winterburn, Nigel Winterburn.
Winterburn as a right back, yes.
Yeah. And the thing is that he played between I think it was 87, 88 up until 94.
No, he played 1 year at Wenger, and then the next season he went injured. I was surprised when I read that.
No. I'm saying under George Graham.
Okay, you did.
He played 7 years, and then we bought Keon back from Aston Villa. He
Oh, okay.
went from Aston Villa to somewhere else, and we bought him back.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, and then Keon took his spot next to Adams. So Keon, I think he didn't play under GG.
George, you're disputing that. George, your mic.
Your mic, George.
Steve Bould was always first choice centre back with Tony Adams. They sometimes played in a three, and Keon was first change. But Steve Bould was always a better player than Martin Keon. Always a better player than Martin Keon.
When Martin Keon came in,
Keon gets a reputation for standing up to the Dutch guy there with the penalty. What his name is?
There was a reason Martin Keon was sold.
Yeah,
he wasn't as good as that.
True,
you know.
And he came
well,
back.
you know why Martin Keon gets a reputation. It's over that pen and the fact that the Dutch guy that used to play for United, basically. Van Nistelrooy, and when he missed, and that whole big emblematic photo. Yeah, but that's what Martin Keon is.
He was more clumsy than Mustafi. I'm telling you now. Martin Keon.
Well, I have a lot of problems with these guys. These guys are nothing like. Sorry, George.
Steve Bould was a magnificent centre back. Magnificent centre back. Martin Keon was okay. Steve Bould was magnificent.
And he played for Sunderland after an injury when he was 35 years old. It wasn't like, even at 35 years old with an injury, he was the starting centre back for Sunderland. It's not like, even he just retired because I think he retired because he played against Henry a couple of games, and he realized how quickly. Yeah. There was one play I remember at Highbury, because we didn't see. I was behind the goal, and I didn't see Henry coming. I just saw Henry's shadow and the back of Bould, and you see the ball lobbed above Bould's head, and Thierry just passes him by while Steve is just still turning around. And I think at that moment he just decided, okay, I have to call it quits, because it's just the game has become too quick, especially with Wenger adding to the game. And he's a magnificent defender. He's a great defender, and he's a stand-up guy.
I checked some of these blogs, the big blogs, the ones that really influence people, and they had nothing about that. I came on board in 2006, so a lot of this passed me. I am going by reputation and by what I read on YouTube channels, and depending on you guys. But my research tells me that he was an important player. He was an important player under Graham, and he was an important player under Wenger. By the way, Phil Kennedy is on. Phil, welcome. We have our back and forth on Twitter, but you're telling me that. He's telling us that we should have been mindful of the Europa game with Austria. Phil, we knew this, but we scheduled this, and you're a stickler, Phil. You told us to stick to our time. Biso is on, and she and Phil are having some sort of discussion. I'm not having it, guys. But Phil makes the point that Mustafi will prove to be a better defender than Ben White. Well, and I'm reluctant to go into this Ben White thing, but we're 33 minutes. But I want to talk. I want to talk a little bit about Ben White, but not yet, not quite yet. At the end of the day, guys, I have a very good friend from Positively Arsenal, Finsbury, and he has been lamenting the demolition of the boot room for ever since Wenger left. Remember, in 2018, Raul did a big firing of staff. I remember And Arsenal Andrew writing an article for my blog telling me you think about, how many people have been fired from permanent jobs and how many in England you call them these temporary workers. What do they call, George? Brought on for they're brought on for the games. What do you call them, George? You have a name for them. But they're just temporaries, temps. They have no benefits. And then there's a terminology. I don't remember the term. I didn't look it up, so please forgive me. 2019, another set of firings.
Yeah.
And 2020, Gunnosaurus is gone. The scouts are gone. George, the point Finsbury is making is that, and I think Ehab said it, and you said it, the old Arsenal we know is no more. What is your thoughts? It's done.
Oh, it's gone.
0 hours. Phil, Phil, thank you. 0 hours workers. Thank you very much, my friend.
Yeah. Oh, it's gone all right. It went with Arsene Wenger. And like I said, it was my mistake because I thought everybody pulled in that direction and it was just Arsene pulling everybody in that direction. Yes. And completely rudderless now. And they're trying to give Mikel Arteta the rudder. And he's fucking going around in circles. He's like a child in a paddling pool. He's out of his depth. So we're in deep shit, my friends, because the way back is a long road. You can't reset now. If you replace Arteta, it's not the same as when you replaced Arsene Wenger. The other people have gone. So it would be a total reset. And the same with the team. We're 3 years along and we haven't improved a single position on the field. Not one position on the playing field is better than it was when Arsene Wenger left with what they said was a poor team. Everybody's worse. All the positions are worse. All of them. And it's going to be the same with the backroom staff. They sacked the scouts, and now we're having to advertise for fucking scouts. I mean, we have
they're probably on a contractual basis, George. They're probably going to be at 0 hours.
It's unbelievable. It's like it's fucking madness. It's like having a Michelin star chef, sacking him, and 6 months later advertising for a chef down at the local job centre.
Exactly.
To come in and make Michelin star meals. You're not going to get it. They've gone. And the further we slip down the pecking order, the more difficult it becomes to replace these people. It's like anything. If you're in a top job, in a top company, you can be replaced because top people want to come in and take that job.
Right.
But if you're in a struggling company and it's a poor job, the top people don't want to come in. They're not going to be tempted to come to your company anymore. The top people aren't going to be tempted to come to Arsenal. The top players are nowhere near tempted to come to Arsenal. We're paying £50 million for Ben White, probably. Now, the thing is, I think he's exactly the type of player we should be buying. I think we should be buying the best players from smaller clubs, and he is the best player at Norwich.
Right.
At Brighton, sorry. At Brighton. We should be buying the likes of him, but not as your star fucking player, and he still doesn't improve on what you've got. He's not as good a player as David Luiz was. He's not as good a ball-playing centre-back. He might have other attributes. He might be a bit quicker. He's younger, got a resale value, blah, blah, blah. But he does not improve the team on last year. So we're going to pay £50 million to not improve the team on last year. And we've done it in every single position. We've paid money for people that have not improved the team the year they come, the year they arrive. And they should.
George, I'm going to come back to Ben White. I'm going to come back to Ben White in a second to end this program because it's, I don't want to keep it too long. So Ehab, my friend Finsbury from Positively Arsenal tells me he and I have been. He says it's over. He says it's and that Steve Bould's firing is just underlining the end. The old Arsenal is ended. George just said it's not getting any better. Where are you on this? Are we just dooming and glooming? You know, I some guy who will remain nameless. When I told him that you and George were going to discuss, he said you were going to all be dooming and glooming. What makes you, you know, what's the realism that you bring? At least, unlike that guy, you work in football. I don't know what the hell he works in. Writes a blog, but at least you work in football. So give me your knowledgeable opinion.
I don't think you need to work in football to see that things are going downhill. I mean, for fuck's sake, we're playing like 15.
Well, George and I would agree.
We've changed. I mean, let me say this in my most positive way. We have changed 4 managers in 3 years, which was Wenger, then Unai, then Leonberg, and then Arteta.
Yes.
We have spent 300 million, wasted another 300. Only today, this Fenerbahce owner came out and said that we are not paying a penny to Ozil. He said,
"You did." So we're paying everything.
No, he said that they paid nothing in transfer, and we paid all his wages.
Yeah, Ehab just froze.
6 months ago, everybody was saying, what a good job Edu did to get Ozil out and get his wages off the books. And he hadn't done any of those things.
Sorry, we probably did the same with Mustafi and Kolasinac. We probably did the same with...
The owners of... what's the club name? They gone to second level.
Schalke.
Schalke. They said that we were paying his wages. Well, they're paying half his wages, and because they've gone down, they can't pay that. He's probably easily on 100,000 a week. They can't. German teams are run like a tight ship. You have to present a budget at the beginning of every season, and you can't go outside of it without special permission. You don't go down and don't cut expenses. Keep going, Ehab.
What we're doing is that how can I paint this positively? When we finished with Wenger 5th, 1 point behind Liverpool, the same team that won the Champions League and the PL. We thought this is the end of
the world football thing.
We thought this is the championship. Yeah, we thought this is the world. This is the end of the world. This is the world.
Ehab, my friend, what has happened to you? You were
from 500. I'm sorry. Am I cutting off?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Am I cutting off? I'm okay.
You are breaking up.
Hello.
Your communication is coming and going.
Yeah. How about now?
Well, if you speak up, we'll know.
Okay. Is it okay now?
Yes. Keep going.
Yeah. We spent from that time till today, we've spent 500 million between spend and wasted. We're gonna spend another 100 and 150 million this transfer window, so 650 million. We went from 486 million in revenue to 180, and our team is much worse than it was, and we've overachieved. We've overachieved to come 8th this year. We were playing like 15th or 14th, easy. We were not playing better than Everton. We were not playing better than Brighton. For fuck's sake, we're gonna buy all the players. We want to buy the right back. We want to buy the center back. We want to buy the CDM. We already have the keeper, and this Matt Ryan, and this is And now we are trying to be, and now what we're doing is we overachieved to be 8th. And how the fuck am I going to draw this in a happy, shiny manner. How am I going to put a silver lining on this crap? We have, uh, I don't know what to tell you. We have debt that can't be paid now. We are going to go into 400, 500 million debt. Um, it just doesn't it doesn't get better. What's doom and gloom
You,
is that we are spending 50 million in a Brighton centre back as our star signing. Uh, they say they want to spend 60 million on James Maddison. Why the fuck would James Maddison
come
leave Leicester and come play for Arsenal? It- they are in the Champions League picture. They are in the Europa League now. They will be in the Champions. Sorry, they will be in the Champions League picture. They will. He's playing under Brendan Rodgers with the best English striker since Wayne Rooney in front of him, and he has a team that is built cheaply. If Leicester saves enough money, they could easily get someone like who, for example, they could get Coutinho or Griezmann if they have the money to go out and buy those players. We don't. Why would James Maddison leave all of that and come spend 5 years at Arsenal? We're gonna overpay him to underachieve again, and it's gonna put us on the hole even more. I've just listened to the owner of Blackburn yesterday when they were getting relegated, and he did this press conference when he said maybe we shouldn't have spent, but at the time it was worth it. And it's like a drunken night out where you spent all your money. And
when they were, you mean when they were good, or when they were good, or when they got bad? I saw them when they were bad.
no, when they got bad, after
Okay,
after
okay.
they won the league and they got bad for 5 or 6 years, and then the whole team just went down the
Yes, no,
drain.
right.
And this is what we're doing right now. This is exactly what we're doing. This team will be sold in a couple of years. Of these couple of years, we're looking at before 2025. If we go down this road, even if we fire Arteta, even if we fire Edu, we are going to need a savior. We are going to need a manager that comes in and does what Arsene Wenger did: win with no resources and keep winning for 4 or 5 years just to get back on track. And
You know,
I
my
don't.
friend Ehab,
Go ahead.
the two people on the stream right now, um, Heart Red, Biso, I see you. Phil, I see you. Most fans don't believe it, but you go bankrupt slowly, and then suddenly one day you're bankrupt. And George, I am I am waiting for the day to see the May 31st, 2021 statements. The figures that Ehab reel off a while ago. $280 million was the 2020 revenue. Full year of COVID, it's going to be worse. 50 million losses. I keep telling these figures, 50 million losses. You talk about it, George. You say it is going to be $150 million. You're burning through cash at the rate of £100 million a year. The cash that the idiots said you should spend. And by the way, George, your very good friend, with whose name I won't call, said since 2006 we've been worrying about the financials of the club. And I said it's only a stupid fan would not worry about the financials of the club. Because as Ehab is saying, if you continue to burn cash at the rate of £100 million a year and lose 50 to 75, Mr. Kroenke is going to tell Josh it can't continue. George, your thoughts, finally.
Right. Okay. For those people who haven't cottoned on yet, it used to be the performance on the field drove the income.
Correct.
Now it's the income that drives the performance. The world has turned 180 degrees on its axis.
Yes.
No longer can you get a good team together, push yourself up the league, and start being more profitable every year and improve that way. It doesn't work like that anymore. The input of cash from Manchester City, Chelsea, Manchester United, Liverpool, now makes it that they are beyond that business model.
Yes.
That business model is defunct. And if we end up in serious debt, it won't be a problem until the debt exceeds the value of the club. But it's a two-way thing here. The debt's going up on one hand exponentially, and the value of the club will be dropping on the other side. Mm-hmm. And somewhere they'll meet in the middle. And at that point, we're in the shit. Because at that point, they will no longer be in a position where they can spend money on any transfers, on any wages. They can do it now because the fallback is they can sell the club and get the money back. Mm-hmm. Once the value of the club equals the debt, we're in shit. And we're getting that point can come in 2 or 3 seasons easily, the way we're going.
Anyway, George, anyway, there's a sense of complacency. And we're saying the same thing week after week. And we're trying to sound the alarm. I don't want to use this metaphor, but since I'm an American, we're sounding, I'm going to say, I'm like Paul Revere. The English are coming. Don't lose it, George. But, the redcoats are coming. And nobody seems to care. It's just, do you think they were like the Cronkies? They're just blaming the Cronkies anyway. We discussed that. I want one last issue to raise. Just we can spend a little minute on this because you can't, Arsenal, football is consumed by transfers. I mean, I see Gary Neville almost jizzing himself. I could literally see him jizzing because they're going to spend $100 million on Sancho. And we actually the same mentality at Arsenal. We're going to spend $50 million on Ben White. The question I want, why are we negotiating Ben White so publicly? Why are we putting ourselves in a position where we can't back out of this deal? Didn't we do the same thing last year with Partey? We Partey, and at the end of the day, Atletico just hung on, and we had to pay what they call the payout. What's it called again? The
release clause.
The release clause. And now, don't you see that we're doing the same thing? We've conducted a public, we've used all these frontmen, these apologists for the club to keep dropping little things to say, oh, the club is showing ambition. Well, are these guys a bunch of amateurs? Why are they doing this, George? Why? And I'll go to Ehab finally. Why are we conducting our business so publicly?
Because that's what the fans want. It's fan appeasement. That's all it is. Fan appeasement. They read in the papers that we're spending $50 million on Ben White. Oh, great. We're going in the right direction. And then they'll dream up reasons why Ben White is going to all of a sudden change our team and make us a force to be reckoned with. But
Gabriel was supposed to do that, George. Gabriel was supposed to make us a force to be reckoned with.
Of course, Gabriel was supposed to do it. Saliba was supposed to do it.
Yes.
Pepe was supposed to do it.
Yes.
Partey was supposed to do it. And none of them has made us any better at all. In fact, we're worse in every position, like I said. So it's just to keep the fans happy. And because that's what football is now to the majority of fans, how much you spend. A good owner is how much they spend of their own money. Nothing to do with how they run the club. It's how much they spend of their own money. That's how people rate the owners. And they're just playing the game, Shotta. They're just playing the game because they know the fans are stupid.
But George, I can't afford to say that. I'm trying to build a channel here. I have 3 people live. I call them anybody stupid, I'll probably go down to 0. Ehab, And the three
Yeah.
people who are on, I thank you very much because at least there's somebody who's willing to listen to us. Ehab, why
Yeah.
you are in this business? Is this? I mean, we start with Steve Bould. Steve Bould, do you ever hear Steve Bould say anything?
No, no.
Once upon a time, Wenger was suspended and he had to do a press conference. And
5
it was the
games.
most it was the most uncomfortable moment I've ever seen for anybody. He doesn't say anything. He gets along with his business. Why
Yeah.
are we conducting our business up, backing ourselves in a corner where
It's changed
Brian
because
can tell us 50 million pounds or nothing, knowing full well by August we will have to fork it up, plus the incentives. Are we the bunch of virgins, a bunch of idiots? What is going on here?
it became a PR game. Now we are dropping down. We are dropping down to the level of IQ that the average fan has, and
Average
it's
fan is running
really
the club now.
it's really low. It's lower than the nation's average, and that's low to start with. So yeah, but you look at these kind of things. We started putting. You remember when Emre came, and we started putting people videos of the training was available online all the time.
Yes, yes.
Why the fuck is that? I mean, Marcelo Bielsa doesn't even let people in training. He doesn't even let media in training. Why?
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
Then they start writing bullshit about who is playing well and who is not playing well, and who must be selected this week. You don't do that.
And all you see are bits and bytes, like 6 seconds, and you see like somebody hitting a shot in training, and you're like, oh, he's class. He must start this week, and everybody's
Yes.
now talking about Reece Nelson has to start at right wing this week. You've seen him in training; he's doing well, and this is stupid. We've gone to the level of the fans. That's why everybody is discussing our transfer dealings. We are talking about Ben White is a good attacker, a good defender, but 50 million is a lot of money.
If he should do his cruciate in September, you're stuck with him.
The thing is, if you have an okay manager, a manager who doesn't add to the team, but is not an obstacle to the team, like Arteta is right now, still is, and hopefully he will learn one day. If you have a good manager, whatever you can win with Ben White and Rob Holding and Gabriel, you can win with Gabriel, Rob Holding, and Saliba. The 50 million are just to cover up the inabilities of a manager. Now, those 50 million, can they be used elsewhere? If you have 50 million and you have 60 million to spend in Madison, why don't we just keep the fucking money? We've lost 150, and we can put together a team of the guys that we have.
But
we sell Leno.
Ehab, stop right there. Stop right there. We have a crying need for a central attacking midfield. We did some figures showing that we are scoring at a rate of 1.5 goals per game, and we need to be 2 goals per game. Why are we doing this? Why are we focusing on defense? I just don't get it.
We can buy Kevin De Bruyne, Luka Modric, Messi, and who else is a good these days, and keep Emmitt Smith-Rowe and buy Madison and Mount and start them all together, and we will average 2.1 shots per game. It's not the players. The game plan is pushing us to the sides. Somebody needs to drag Arteta to the middle of the field, point to the goal, and say, kid, this is where the goal is, down the middle. This is where your attack has to be based. And they don't know that. They don't. He's just learning that. He's just getting to that. The problem is, if you sit down with Arteta, when he explains the tactics, you think this guy is a mastermind. But on reality, on the pitch, it's just there's just a little adjustment, just like this, and everything goes sideways. Now the thing is, and to finalize on the Steve Bould thing, it's not a good thing. It's a bad thing. We should have kept him. We should have added to him. We should have looked into other players from our, let's, for the lack of better word, legends, and brought them back to work with the club because they're working elsewhere. Bergkamp is working at Ajax. Vieira has worked in Manchester City and he built their youth facilities.
And he was at
Now he's
Leeds.
working as a manager elsewhere.
Yeah.
Thierry Henry is the assistant manager to the Belgian team, and you can put those players together and start something in the boardroom that does something. Matthew Flamini runs a 900 million company. You know, I bet under any circumstances he can do a better job than Vinay and Edu put together. At
You
least he
don't
can
try to
run the
convince
company.
me.
Yeah, that's it.
Ehab, yeah, we're getting rid of the institutional memory. I've never seen an organization succeed doing that. George, your final word before we call it an end. It's 1 hour exactly. Forward or backward?
We're fucked.
With or without Steve Bould, we are fucked.
Well, Steve Bould, yeah, I'm a bit like I was with Arsene Wenger. He's better off out of it.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you, guys. Exactly 1 hour. It was good. I wish and we will do this again, and we'll post it as a podcast and all of that. Thank you again, and will the audience remember? Trying. We aim to grow this channel. We're not gonna give up that easily. Subscribe and like this live stream, and we will take it from weekend to weekend. We might even adjust the time with the Euros going on. I don't know. I'm not sure about that yet because we have a pattern which we want to establish a pattern, a habit, and I'm loath to divert from that. But we will see. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you all.
Thank you, Shotta. Thank you, George.
All righty, bye.
Bye bye.
Right.
George.
Yes.
Yes, my friend.
This concludes another edition of the Positively Uncensored Arsenal podcast. Show your appreciation of our podcast by subscribing and clicking the like button wherever you listen. This really helps in growing our support among honest and biased fans who recognize that Wenger's legacy is fundamental. Free-flowing attacking football by a club with integrity and class. Thanks for listening.